Okay, now we're actually live. Here was a shot of the comet a few weeks ago when it was pretty bright. And by contrast, tonight it is fading, and there it is there with a 15-second exposure. As Neowise begins to depart the solar system, or away from Earth anyway. And it's 6,700 or 7,000 year journey, I forget the exact number. Now, I only have limited time because there's this large tree here, and the comet is right above the left side of the tree, not the right. Previously, I was able to take shots when it was in between here in this building. But as of now, it's up to the upper left, and there are literally minutes until it hits the tree. And there's another angle, and there it was back around the 18th of July there. I also took some shots from a local park around the same time. And of course the ones I took through the telescope. This is the Edge 11 telescope. I have a Hyperstar V3 attached with an Asi294, and I'm going to take some longer exposures. It looks like the histogram is right where it needs to be here in Nina. That's at 15 seconds. I'm just waiting for it to get a little bit darker, hopefully to bring out some more detail here. A few more minutes and I'll be able to get some more detail. Let's try to extend this. I'm using Nina, which I always use, except for planetary. I use Sharp Cap or Fire Capture. So again, here was the view back 2.5 weeks ago at its brightest moment. A couple of different shots. I had to deal with clouds then too. Tonight the clouds have parted, but the tree is getting closer. So here we've got 20 seconds, and there is still a little bit of a tail here, you can see, but not much. Somewhere around magnitude 6. I think I can probably go for 25-second exposure now. I think we can do some 30-second exposures here, and I'm going to start with that. Flip these around, 30 to 60, and then maybe a 120 if the tree doesn't get hit before then. Make sure it's in focus. Yeah, it's close enough for this science experiment here. "30-second exposure." Again, this is the Edge 11 with the Hyperstar, so it's 560 millimeter focal length. And there we go, we got some 30 seconds coming in here. Yeah, I'm using Nina now for, well, since the beginning, pretty much, since I put the dome in about a year ago. Well, not a year ago, I guess it was October of last year by the time I finally had it in place. So this was pretty much the first and only piece of software I've been using for deep space over the last year. Its sequences are pretty nice. I put the target name in here, and then I generally put what type of filters on, and right now actually I have in the name I usually put the filter name. I didn't do it tonight, but tonight this is an L Pro filter. I still have the L Pro on here, 2-inch L Pro in the drawer, the Hyperstar or Starizona drawer. I only did 5 exposures here at 30. I'm going to try to go a little bit longer, although the histogram is, it could go a little more, I guess. Let's see. I was going to try 60 next, but that's too long. It's not dark enough. I'm going to change that 60 to 45. Let's give that a shot. Here you can see I have the cloud watcher, which sits in back of the dome. Generally in the summertime, the clear line is pretty much right above these letters. So it was cloudy earlier, and it looks to the west, and as clouds roll in, this dips down or goes up. It also keeps track of the rain, of course. It'll shut automatically using a script that I have in the script folder for it, and I can manually shut it. Generally I use Task Manager just to set it at the end of the sequence. Although the sequence now supports batch files in Nina, so you can tell it to run a batch file at the end of the sequence. Here we can see now with 45-second we're actually picking up a bit more of the tail here. Again, nothing compared to the other day, which was more like that, filling the entire screen with the tail, which was incredible around the 18th of July when I was able to get these few shots. I think I might just bank on the 45 because I don't think there's much time before it hits the tree. Oh, Sean, yeah, Cloud Watcher, I've had that since the beginning too. I had some issues getting it going at first. software, figuring out the software, but it's been solid ever since. The only thing is, when you go from winter to summertime, you have to change some of the settings in it, otherwise the clear levels are not where they should be. That's in here under setup, I forget, limits maybe, yeah, here it is. I had to set the cloudy limitations, the temperatures, to be, I guess, warmer for the summer. So you have to change it per season. So far, summer and winter only. Hopefully that's the only 2 times you have to change these values, at least up here in Southwest PA, and that's worked out pretty well. So let's see here, where am I at? I have 4. Yeah, around here I haven't had to deal with any real wild swings as far as the cloud reading goes. I think I also had to change I had to redo the moisture sensor early in the summertime too, for some reason. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, that's up here. Come back. Going the wrong way. Alright, I'm going to try to do 50 second. I have to check and make sure I have 50 second darks. This is how I organize everything. I have a calibration folder and then darks. And it looks like I go from 40 to 60. I can get around that later, I suppose, but let's just try for 60. So I'm going to reset this counter and I'll change this guy to 60. Should be able to do that. I'm going to see if I can at least get 15. Well, yeah, probably not 15. We're going to try. I don't know why it said that. Alright, probably the last shot, and after tonight I'm going to switch this out and go back to F10, F20 and higher for planetary. Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars are ripe for the picking right now. So right now we're in the middle of a 60-second exposure, 40 out of 60. This ought to be interesting. AstroPixel processor now has a Comet feature where it will basically stretch the stars for you and keep the comet centered. They're supposed to add in feature to actually make the star background stable and be able to have the stars match up like a single shot. Pixie Insight, there's a way to do it in Pixie, and I finally figured it out, but it took a while. But I'm kind of looking forward to the AstroPixel that'll do it automatically, so you don't have to do 10 steps just to get to the end result. These shots I took before, like this one, this was just a single 60-second exposure, I think. Yeah, 60-second. A little more defined with the 60. Maybe maybe a stack of 60s will look pretty good, even though this is getting fainter by the day. Histogram looks pretty good, not squished too far to the left, not more than a third to the right. Yeah, Nina, here I have it set to debayer. It's in the options. You don't have to, but it's under imaging. Yeah, here it is. Debayer image. Unlinked stretch I have on. That gives it more of a natural, neutral background kind of look. Like as if you checked off neutralized background in AstroPixel at least. Yeah, you can mess around with the auto stretch and back clipping, which I have sort of customized, I think, at -2.8. And I didn't do anything with noise reduction or star sensitivity, but I noticed that some people have these turned on. And of course you can put all the things into the file name you want, so you can track everything. And some of the other settings, like under equipment, you have to specify the focal ratio and focal length. Have different profiles, like this one I have for Hyperstar, another one I have for F10 and F7. And plate solving, I'm using ASTAP because it's extremely fast for plate solving, although I didn't plate solve for this image here. So the debayering comes in really handy to be able to see this, and it's more of a natural eye sort of view, if you will. Post-processed on the fly, but not really refined. I'm amazed that I haven't hit the tree yet. Usually by now I would have hit that tree. I think it's just starting to show up in the lower right here. Could be wrong. I can look at the wider. I have a 60mm guide scope with the Asi290, and usually it would pick up where I'm at. Here's the comet here in the center, but no sign of the tree yet, at least in this view, which is wider. If I could get through at least 10 of these 60s, I might try to go for 90. You can see with the unlinked stretch, the filter, even the 2-inch filter, having the vignetting, I went from a 1 1/4, which would have been more like right about here in the image, down to at least right about here where it starts to vignette. And I take flats using the Spica flat with layers of shirt, and now, yeah, you can see the trees coming into view. So I think we're going to run out of luck here. I'm going to have to stick with these 60s and stack them. So after this, I'm going to go up and take off the Hyperstar and hopefully start generating some pictures of planets. It's planetary season around here. Finally getting high enough, around 27 degrees in the sky for the planetary. Now this comet, when I first took these pictures, was like this one. This was only 8 degrees, hovering just above the bowling alley roof there. Some of the lowest shots I've ever taken. Never thought I would take anything that low, but it turned out okay. This is really the only tree that occludes the view ever. I would love if the neighbors would let me get rid of their tree for them. But really, that's about 37 altitude. Let's see what. Not sure why it's not showing me the altitude there. I also have in Stellarium, I have the background for around the scope being at the center, and like right now it's at about, actually it's about 33, so I managed to view it to about 33 degrees before it hit the tree. and altitude. This kind of gives me a guide as to where the tree, or where the whatever I'm taking pictures of is going to hit the tree during the night. It's also useful to see exactly where the Milky Way is, since I'm in Bortle 5 and it's not always obvious. Because I have taken some deep space shots of the Milky Way with the Canon camera. But that's where we're at visually. And that tree is about to end the show. Yeah, thanks on the Comet compliment. I got really lucky with those ones. And then I tried a few nights ago, before it became higher above the tree earlier, I tried some of the later ones and it was just too low. I couldn't get any more. And that's all she wrote. Yeah, the Edge 11, I really haven't taken many planetary shots yet. With before it was with the 8SE. Most of my shots, I think I did one Saturn at the end of the year last year, so I'm looking forward to messing around with the planetary now. So I guess that's it for this first ever live cast. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. The Comet looked a little okay once we got some longer exposures there, and we'll catch you later, maybe for another one sometime.